1979 was the year disco ruled the airwaves. Punk was finding its voice, and some absolutely incredible songs climbed the charts, only to vanish forever. Welcome back to Decades of Rock. Today, we're diving deep into 10 forgotten one-hit wonders from 1979 that somehow slipped through the cracks of music history. These aren't your typical My Sharona or Video Killed the Radio Star. Those songs are still everywhere. No, we're talking about the true forgotten gems that had their moment in the sun and then mysteriously disappeared from our collective memory. But trust me, once you hear these again, you'll be wondering how you ever forgot them. Number 10. Gibson Brothers, Cuba. The Gibson brothers weren't Cuban musicians. Chris and Patrick Gibson were from Martinique, but their Latin-flavored disco hit perfectly captured the exotic disco trend of 1979. This song peaked at number 12 and showcased how disco was incorporating Latin rhythms and international flavors. The production was lush, the beat was infectious, and it had that perfect late disco sophistication. The Gibson brothers actually had moderate success in Europe throughout the early 80s, but American audiences seemed to forget them the moment disco backlash hit. It's a shame because their craftsmanship was genuinely impressive. Number 9. Pop music. This is one of the most innovative songs of 1979, which was essentially Robin Scott, a British musician who was way ahead of his time. This new wave masterpiece hit number 1 in the US and the UK. The song was recorded almost entirely by Scott himself, using early synthesizers and drum machines. It was a glimpse into the future of pop music, predicting the electronic revolution that would dominate the 80s. But here's what's fascinating. Tried to follow up with Moonlight and Muzik and several other singles, but none captured that same lightning in a bottle. Robin Scott essentially created the template for electronic pop and then faded into obscurity. Number 8. Claudja Barry, Boogie Woogie Dancin' Shoes. Claudja Barry's Boogie Woogie Dancin' Shoes peaked at number 56, but was absolutely huge in clubs and internationally. Barry was a Jamaican-Canadian singer who perfectly embodied the disco era's glamour. This song had everything: a killer bass line, soaring strings, and Barry's powerful vocals that could command any dance floor.
Boogie, 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 dancing shoes, keep me dancing.
The production was handled by the team behind many Donna Summer hits, so you know it was top shelf. Barry had actually been performing since the early 70s and continued recording well into the 80s, but somehow American radio moved on. In Europe and Canada, she maintained a loyal following, but US audiences just forgot about this disco gem. Number 7. Peter Brown, Dance With Me. Peter Brown's Dance With Me climbed to number 18 and was absolutely massive in nightclubs. Brown was a session musician and songwriter who finally got his moment in the spotlight. What set this apart was the guitar work. It had a rock edge that other disco songs lacked, making it appeal to both disco and rock audiences. The song was actually co-written by Brown with Robert Rands, and it showcased a grittier side of disco. Brown tried to follow up with Do You Wanna Get Funky With Me and other tracks, but none caught fire the same way. He eventually became a successful songwriter and producer, but his performing career was defined by this one perfect moment. Number 6. Donna Summer and Barbra Streisand, No More Tears, Enough Is Enough. Wait, you might be saying, this isn't forgotten. But hear me out. While both artists are legends, this collaboration has somehow faded from regular rotation despite hitting number 1. This was a groundbreaking collaboration. The queen of disco meeting the queen of everything. The song showcased both their vocal ranges and created a template for pop diva duets that's still used today. The reason it feels forgotten is that it doesn't fit neatly into either artist's typical greatest hits. It was too disco for Streisand purists and too pop for some summer fans, so it exists in this weird middle space despite being absolutely brilliant. Number 5. Anita Ward, Ring My Bell. This is a disco classic that peaked at number 1 for 2 weeks. Anita Ward was actually a school teacher when this song changed her life overnight. The song was originally written for Stacy Lattisaw, who was only 11 years old at the time, so the producers wisely gave it to Ward instead. That distinctive bell sound and Ward's sultry vocals made it an instant disco floor filler. What's remarkable is how this song has lived on in samples. It's been sampled by everyone from De La Soul to Colette. Yet somehow, Ward herself never had another major hit, despite several attempts and a genuinely powerful voice that deserved more recognition. Number 4. Amy Stewart, Knock on Wood. This song is Amy Stewart's disco reinvention of Eddie Floyd's classic Knock on Wood. Stewart took this 1966 soul hit and gave it a complete disco makeover, taking it to number 1 in 1979. Stewart was a dancer and backup singer who had worked with the likes of Bette Midler before this breakthrough. Her version was produced by Barry Lang, and the arrangement was so different from the original that it felt like an entirely new song. The irony? Stewart actually had a successful career in Europe, particularly in Italy, where she became a major star. But in America, despite this massive hit, she couldn't break through again. Sometimes the music industry is just inexplicably fickle. Number 3. Patrick Hernandez, Born to Be Alive. This French singer's disco anthem peaked at number 16 in the US, but here's the kicker. It was absolutely massive in Europe, hitting number 1 in several countries. The song's infectious energy and that unforgettable Born to Be Alive chant made it a dance floor staple. Hernandez was working as a hairdresser when he was discovered, and this song became his golden ticket. Unfortunately, despite several follow-up attempts, lightning never struck twice. What makes this one particularly tragic is that Hernandez actually had genuine talent. His voice was powerful, the production was stellar, but somehow America just moved on. Number 2. Cheryl Lynn, Got to Be Real. This might be the most recognizable song on our list, but stick with me. This peaked at number 12, and while it's been heavily sampled, Lynn herself somehow faded from mainstream consciousness. Lynn was discovered by Stevie Wonder and had one of the most distinctive voices in disco. This song's production was perfect. David Paich from Toto co-wrote it. And every element from the strings to the bass to Lynn's incredible vocal runs was spot on. The tragedy is that Lynn had the voice to be as big as Diana Ross or Donna Summer, but somehow the industry couldn't figure out how to package her properly after this hit. She continued recording and performing, but never reached these heights again commercially. Number 1. Lips Inc., Funky Town. Though this song technically peaked in 1980, it was recorded and released in '79. Now you're definitely thinking this isn't forgotten, but here's the thing. Most people have no idea who Lips Inc. actually were. Steven Greenberg created Lips Inc. in Minneapolis, with Cynthia Johnson as the lead vocalist. This song was revolutionary. It blended disco, funk, and early electronic music in a way that predicted both hip-hop and house music. Won't You Take Me to Funky Town became one of the most iconic hooks of the era, but Lips Inc. as a group essentially vanished after a few follow-up attempts. The song has lived on through countless samples, covers, and movie soundtracks, but the artists behind it became footnotes. What makes this number 1 is the disconnect between the song's lasting impact and how completely forgotten its creators became. It's the perfect example of a song that transcended its makers. And there you have it. 10 incredible one-hit wonders from 1979 that somehow slipped through the cracks of music history. From Patrick Hernandez's disco energy to Lips Inc.'s revolutionary sound, these artists gave us moments of pure musical magic. What's fascinating is how many of these songs were actually ahead of their time. Pop music predicted electronic music, Funky Town laid groundwork for hip-hop, and several of these tracks are still being sampled and referenced today. The real tragedy isn't that these were one-hit wonders, it's that we somehow collectively forgot how amazing they were. Which of these forgotten gems surprised you the most? Did we miss any 1979 one-hit wonders that deserve recognition? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into music history. Until next time, keep digging through those forgotten tracks. You never know what treasures you'll find.